Well, thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. We are going to start with having Lieutenant Tara Flynn, who came all the way from Kent. She's going to do the Pledge of Allegiance with us tonight. So, thank you. Well, where did they put the... Oh, there's the flag. Oh, here, I'll let you come over here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is another amazing event, but before we get started, I'd like everybody who's here for the first time to raise your hand. Wow, that's huge. Thank you so much. That is awesome. This is one of my favorite events to do, as you can tell. You'll see me smiling all night. And first, before we start, I want to send a huge thank you to our sponsors. This is actually the first time that we've had sponsors for this event, and they're the Women's Professional Network, who is Leah Bishop, and where are the girls here? Where are the girls from? The girls, are they here? There's a couple women here. Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. Thank you. And then the Women's Leadership Alliance, and I know Katrina Gobens is on virtually tonight. She couldn't be here, but she's the chamber staff. And then we also have Teresa Giovanello and Michelle McCourt. Where's Teresa and Michelle sitting? Oh, right in front of me. There we go. Thank you. And it's so great, isn't it, to be back together in person? It's awesome. Yeah. I think we have just about 150 women who RSVP just here in the room, and even more participants that are actually logged in virtually, which is absolutely amazing. And I know I've heard from quite a few women tonight that watched it virtually last year. You know, I launched this series of women's networking events back in 2018. It was a way to help connect the women in our community to one another, but also as a way to really show others that there is no one way to get involved in our community, and actually no one path to success, whatever success means to you. You know, and as many of you know, I'm someone who didn't take the traditional path. And so I did not graduate from high school. I got my GED. I went to work at the age of 15. My parents divorced. You know, life gets in the way, right? And when I got involved in politics through my business, because I hated politics, and I can tell you, I still do. But, but I absolutely love to help people. So when I was elected as the state senator, I wanted to tell my story. And you know, they shut me down. They told me, don't. I said, really, why not? So as Katrina knows, who, you know, she's watching us virtually, but she was part of the workforce development at the Poughkeepsie City High School. So I started talking to the kids there and telling them, you know, my story. And you'd see their eyes light up, like, wow, she did it, you know, I can too. And then there was a night or a day, Hudson Valley Magazine had this big event scheduled. There were like 400 people in the room. The lieutenant governor was supposed to speak. She had to back out, so they asked me to speak. So I said to a friend of mine, I think I want to tell my story, but you know, like, I don't talk about this, right? And Debbie and I went to high school together. So I did, and I had a mom come up at the end with her daughter, and the mom's got like tears in her eyes, and she's like, my daughter just took her GED, and she was so embarrassed by it, but you really made her feel so good. So, you know, just that one person really makes a big difference. So, you know, and also part of my story is I was a single mom for a good portion of my life, working 3 jobs. Just somebody that, you know, had to rob from Peter to pay Paul. So I get it. And that's why I always say when I'm up in Albany, I wear that hat up there. And, you know, when I raise my hand in my conference and I talk to my colleagues, you know, sometimes it's as Sue the business owner, or sometimes it's as Sue the single mom who knows the struggles that everybody in our community goes through. And I'll never forget that. You know, and when I got to Albany, it was funny because I thought, oh my God, what did I do? And it was such a man's world. So it was really interesting. I was the 5th woman in our conference. There were 32 of us all together. So I'm walking down the hallway, and I'm pretty tall, but this other woman's walking towards me, and she's taller than I am. She comes up, she gives me a high five and a hug, and she goes, "Thank God, another woman." And you know what? She was from across the aisle. Like, for us, it doesn't matter about parties, politics. We get things done, and that's what I'm so proud of. So, thank you. And her name was Senator Ruth Hassel Thompson. She's not there with us anymore, but she truly was a true trailblazer in the Capitol and a member, like I said, of the other conference. But boy, I really know what she meant, because it didn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. We get it done, and we always do that. Women just seem to know how to get things done, right? Because we have to juggle so much, as I'm sure everyone in this room knows. And that's what this event is all about. It's reiterating this message, breaking down barriers and connecting women in our community with one another to make great things happen. Year after year, the event really has grown. You know, we've had to turn people away from coming here because we've fed about 150 people, so we have a lot of people that join us virtually, which is great. So I really attribute that to the amazing array of speakers that you guys are going to hear from. You know, every one of them has truly been dynamic, but more importantly, they've each brought a unique personal story to the table that they're willing to share. This year, I've asked our speakers to address the topic, rebuilding in the wake of a challenge. As women, we do this all the time, right? We do it. We're used to coming up against challenges and adapting. But the COVID-19 pandemic and all that came with it, remote work and school, time spent separated from loved ones, right? We all have parents and grandparents that we couldn't see. That was heartbreaking. The financial challenges, the mental and emotional health challenges, and so much more have really thrown even the most resilient among us for a big loop. And I don't know about you, but this time has felt like one big game of whack-a-mole. And it's like as soon as you overcome one pandemic challenge, another one pops up. So it may feel a little overwhelming to look toward the future when you just are trying to get through the day. But if there's one thing I've learned in my life, it's these moments, the ones that challenge us the most, that show us what we are really made of. So when we talk about rebuilding, we all know it's easier said than done, absolutely. But with a little inspiration and a supportive network rooting us on, we all have what it takes. So with that, I want to turn it over to this year's team of amazing speakers. And first up, I'm thrilled to be able to introduce the owner of Ultimate Auto Detailing and our 2021 New York State Women of Distinction nominee, Sabrina Cruz. Come on up, Sabrina.
How's everyone doing? Well, can we just give a big round of applause to Sue and her team for this amazing event? Rebuilding in the wake of a challenge. What does this mean? For the business that I share with my husband, and for many businesses, this means rebuilding after a global pandemic. Yes, economically, we have rebuilt, and we will continue to do so. However, the story of rebuilding takes a less economic one and more of an internal journey. I would like to start by thanking Senator Serino for this opportunity. So I can stand here and tell you that I'm a 9th grade dropout, a suicide survivor, recovering addict, misguided teen that made hundreds of mistakes, pregnant at 17 and a mom at 18, that I suffered with severe depression and anxiety up until the age of 27. That at 27, the thought of taking my life again seemed like such sweet bliss, and that at 27, I had my first nervous breakdown. Or I can tell you that I'm a mom of 4 amazing kids, a wife for the past 15 years, married to my best friend. My passion is writing. I'm a business owner that strives every day to reach new goals, social media marketer that has helped other small businesses build their presence online. I won the Putnam County Trailblazers Award for Economic Development, been featured on numerous podcasts. And every day, I help empower and inspire those around me by my mantra of wake up, dress up, own your day. You see, it doesn't matter what story I tell you, the good or the bad. All of it led me to this point in my life, to me standing here in front of you, and now also being awarded New York State Women of Distinction. The truth is, I'm just like a lot of women in this room. I'm a mom, a wife, a friend, a small business owner, and everything in between. I have days that I question myself, wondering if my best was really good enough, wondering if I'm doing it all right or if I'm completely failing. Days where the world seems completely against me and I wonder if my strength is really enough to carry the weight that I bear. And the truth comes down to I'm my own worst critic, just like everyone else in this room. I quickly remind myself of the struggles that I have faced previously and know that the challenges only built me wiser and stronger and more confident. I could use this time to tell you about my breaking point, or I can give you some insight on the lessons that I learned over the past 7 years that helped transform and rebuild the person that I am today. Rebuilding in the wake of a challenge. We all face them, those challenges that seem like this endless mountain, terrain too tough to walk through. I learned that I can allow my challenges to define me, or I can use them to build me stronger. After my nervous breakdown in 2014, I created a mantra that helped rebuild. Wake up, dress up, own your day. This one phrase helped me reinvent and discover everything I was. Wake up with a grateful heart always. This one simple, yet sometimes challenging task is enough to set the tone for the day. This will determine our mindset, will determine the way we view our obstacles, will define our strength through the difficult times, and will remind us to stay humble yet confident. Dress up. The truth is, when we feel good about ourselves, we tend to lead with our best foot forward. We tend to smile a little brighter, straighten our shoulders a little more, and walk with determination and grace. Your confidence is contagious, so spread it to those around you. Ultimately, your confidence will deflect the negativity that tries to enter your life. Own your day. You are in control of every single day. You are in control of the fact that you can take the challenges that lie ahead of you and use them as pawns through this thing called life. You see, it's never really a challenge. It's just an obstacle that simply needs to be removed. You can face these obstacles with fear, anxiety, anger, tears, or you can face these obstacles knowing that you are about to learn extraordinary lessons. Knowing that these lessons are intended for you to grow mentally, emotionally, or physically. They're intended to build you stronger. I may not be able to change the world, but that doesn't stop me from trying to change my section of the world. I know that if you allow your past to define your present, you will never live up to your full potential. You will never know what you are capable of, and you will never know the power that you possess and the lives that you can impact. I know that rebuilding requires fear of the unknown. It requires failing hundreds of times and being okay with that. It requires endless energy as you take 2 steps forward just to take 2 steps back. It requires a mindset strong enough to withstand the storm that you face. But there is no way to rebuild unless you are determined, you define your why, and see just how powerful you are with all your good, all your bad, and all your indifferent. I'm just a girl that owns a detailing shop, along with my husband. But I also have a story with a mantra that wakes up every day and gives hope and encouragement to complete strangers on social media or clients that walk into my shop. I have faced countless challenges that my 5-minute speech could never even begin to express the person that I was and the person I am today. But I assure you that rebuilding in the wake of a challenge is possible. If I could teach this room anything, it would be that you are stronger than you give yourself credit for, that you are confidence and grace, that your story has meaning and power no matter what your path looks like. You have the ability to change the world and rebuild with the stones that you carry. So always remember to wake up, dress up, and own your day.
That was amazing, Sabrina. So you can imagine when I met Sabrina, and she's just so positive, right? That makes such a difference, especially today in this world that we live in, where people have forgotten about kindness and respect. Just putting that big smile on your face, right? And really encouraging people. I can't thank you enough. So it was awesome. So thank you for telling your story. So, and now I am so proud to turn it over to a woman whose job it is to literally help our community rebuild. Executive Director of the American Red Cross Hudson Valley Chapter, Kelly Formoso.
Well, wow, that was an amazing story. I am so impressed. Hard act to follow. But good evening. My name is Kelly Formoso, and I am the proud executive director of the American Red Cross serving the Hudson Valley. Thank you, Senator Serino. I am grateful to have had the opportunity to work with you and your team for the last several years. I'm also happy to be with all of you this evening. This is my first in-person networking event since COVID began, so bear with me, and I just went after a writer, who's a pretty big deal. I have been with the Red Cross in a variety of capacities for over 10 years. And like many of us, my professional career began out of a desire to help others. There were two major events that happened during my teenage years that helped shape my thinking and ultimately helped me find my path. The first happened in a small fishing village off the coast of Galicia, Spain, where my family lives and where I had the opportunity to spend several summers. In 2002, an oil tanker leaked over 17 million gallons of heavy fuel oil right off the coast of Galicia. The Prestige oil spill was the largest oil spill in Spain's history and a catastrophic environmental disaster that impacted the people, the industry, the wildlife for many years. The event physically and emotionally devastated our village, jeopardized the community's financial security, wreaked havoc on the marine life, and we still see patches of oil on our beaches. The second event occurred in 2005 during my first week of freshman year at SUNY College of Environmental Science and Forestry, when I watched Hurricane Katrina pummel Louisiana, crush levees, destroy homes and businesses, and take over 1,800 American lives. And although Louisiana has made tremendous progress since then, the impacts of Katrina are still being felt by so many communities today. These two disasters, one man-made and the other natural, challenged me at my core. If a disaster hit my community, hit New York State, impacted my friends and my family, how would I be able to help? I didn't have a clear answer, which is how I started my journey to working with the American Red Cross. Even though the disasters were different and the areas impacted were separated by the Atlantic Ocean, both communities began their recovery in almost the same exact way, with thousands of volunteers traveling to the affected areas to provide a lending hand. Some volunteers came to help out with cleanup efforts. Others helped with emotional support, while others provided and distributed emergency aid, food, shelter, supplies. So in 2007, at the age of 20, I raised my hand to become a volunteer for the AmeriCorps as a National Preparedness and Response Corps member. This program was being hosted by the American Red Cross in Central Maryland. During my year of service, I responded to over 250 disasters, ranging from single-family fires to the California wildfires in 2007, which burned over 900,000 acres of land from Santa Barbara County to the US-Mexico border. At the peak of the wildfire activity, the raging wildfires were visible from space, and over 1 million individuals were evacuated from their homes, not unlike what we're seeing today. It's been 14 years since I started getting involved as a volunteer, and it's clear that I've dedicated myself to the Red Cross because I truly believe in our mission. The American Red Cross prevents and alleviates human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. What I have learned through my experience is that each disaster is unique, and it is important to evaluate the lessons learned. What went well, what can be made better, so you can take steps and make sure you improve your overall readiness so when the next disaster hits, you're set up for success. Although each disaster is different, there's always been one constant: the power of people standing up to help others by volunteering their time and their resources. Over the last year and a half, I've been amazed by the mission of the Red Cross and our volunteers that have been able to pivot and adapt to our new landscape. We have learned to incorporate technology like never before, while still keeping the human connection front and center. My mind is now geared towards thinking about the next disaster and how to make sure we are prepared as an individual, with my family, and as part of the Red Cross organization. When I look around this room, I wonder, what could be your role? Each of us in this room has a gift to share, and I look forward to working with you as we continue to expand our volunteer team to build strong, resilient communities in the Hudson Valley. Maybe you'll consider volunteering or financially supporting a local organization that you are passionate about. Maybe give blood to help save lives in our community. All that matters is that you think beyond these four walls and what you can contribute. Let's be the change we want to see in our community. Thank you so much for your time.
You know, Kelly, you're so young, right, and getting involved in doing this. And there was an amazing day when the Rip Van Winkle had a huge fire in the city of Poughkeepsie, and there's Kelly in the thick of things at the Civic Center with all these little kids, little babies running around with no socks. We went to hotels to get pillows and blankets, and it was amazing. And not only that, you know, not just in the time of disaster, you prevented, I think it was a fire with some seniors because you did the initiative of getting people to give the seniors, I think it is, the smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide. And because of that, there was a family whose house burnt down, but they had the warning because you had given those items to them. So that's huge. Thank you. So, and finally, I am thrilled to introduce you to a woman who not only makes a difference in our community every day, she has made it her mission to help shape and empower the next generation of community leaders. Founder of Rebuilding Our Children and Community Incorporated, Ms. Satara Brown. No, you're never nervous. You do a great job.
Hi, everyone. My name is Satara Brown, and I am the founder of Rebuilding Our Children and Community, Inc., which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization serving children and families of Dutchess County. I am so honored to be here tonight with you all. Thank you, Senator Sue Serino, for providing such an amazing platform for women, and thank you for continuously supporting the efforts of Rebuilding Our Children and Community, Inc. So today's theme is rebuilding in the wake of a challenge. And when I think of today's theme, I instantly think of Rebuilding Our Children and Community, Inc., or ROCC, or ROC. We also go by those two names, because we are literally rebuilding our children and community. ROCC currently serves 60 youth of the county, ages 5 through 13, through our 7-week summer program. We also provide after-school programming to elementary-age youth of the Poughkeepsie City School District. Our office is located in the city of Poughkeepsie. In addition to our youth programming, we host outreach events to connect individuals and families to resources. This year will be our 6th annual back-to-school event that provides free book bags and school supplies to over 600 youth, grades K through 12. Thank you to Ulster Savings for doing our collection in 2019. Our back-to-school event will forever have a special place in my heart because ROCC was started in September of 2015 when we hosted our first back-to-school event. I can't say that I never would imagine that we would grow this big because my sister and I always had hopes of creating a nonprofit organization. Just a little background information. So, growing up, I always saw my mother taking care of others, who's here tonight. So we were the cool house, where our friends would literally come over every single day after school, and on the weekends, our house was always flooded with our cousins and family. So I think that's where I got the whole concept of taking care of others. In college, I was a member of a community service group that served inner-city youth of Albany. We held different events and used to go to the elementary schools and eat lunch with the youth. I also worked for an after-school program through the University of Albany that was for at-risk youth. After graduating in 2013, I continued doing community service in Albany through the district attorney's office. And in 2015, I was kind of like, I should be giving back where I'm from. Although I'm not from the city of Poughkeepsie, I'm from the town of Poughkeepsie and attended schools through the Arlington School District. I did a lot of extracurricular activities in the city of Poughkeepsie, and it wasn't hard to see the disparities in resources between activities I participated in the city of Poughkeepsie versus when I participated in activities in other areas of the county. For instance, in Arlington, my parents would simply just write a check and we would go to all these different states and stay at hotels for basketball tournaments and get our t-shirts made and go swimming. But when I played basketball in Poughkeepsie, we had to fundraise just to get matching sneakers and to go to tournaments. In 2018, ROCC began our first summer camp. I had no idea what I was doing. But I knew that the kids of Poughkeepsie and the surrounding areas needed a program during the summer to keep them busy. Most programs are only 5 weeks and only operate 4 days a week, and the hours don't work too great for working families, so I figured, hey, I'm going to start a summer camp. Like I said, I had no idea what I was doing, but you go as you learn. I mean, I had no clue at all. I never had younger siblings to babysit or anything, but I knew that the community needed me. You make mistakes, you cry, you fail, but you always get back up. We had 25 campers in our camp in 2018. 6 months later, we opened an after-school program. Now, I was asked early in 2018 to open an after-school program, and I thought that person was crazy. My background is in law enforcement. I've worked in this field for the past 8 years. I currently work for the City of Poughkeepsie Police Department in the Juvenile Division. And through this journey, I've always had a full-time job. Last year, I even started a consulting business to help others start nonprofits. But what got to me was September 2018. After our first summer of summer camp, a parent called me and said, please help me. Please help my child. He used to be a straight A student, and now he isn't doing well. I don't know what to do. And at that moment, it changed everything. The after-school program that we opened actually was 4 separate after-school programs in 4 different elementary schools, collectively serving 104 students weekly. We recently reopened our camp after the pandemic 3 weeks ago, and hearing campers say that they missed me or hearing a parent say how appreciative they are of ROCC is why we continue rebuilding in the wake of a challenge every single day. Now, this was always a thought, and over time, it grew into a reality. When I held my first back-to-school event, my family and I purchased some school supplies on our own and gave them out. It was great. There were 60 youth, and now we are reaching over 600. I remember in 2017, we received our first grant of $1,000 specifically for our back-to-school event, and it was an incredible feeling because during that time, it was time to step up a little bit and provide not just school supplies, but book bags as well too. Now here we are in 2021, and it's time for us to step up once again, and now we need our own building to provide a safe space for our 100+ youth. I officially formed into a 501c3 nonprofit in 2017. I was at my lowest. I was a law student struggling in school when everyone thought I had it all. I'm sorry, Sorry. When reality, all I wanted to do was come home and serve my community. I lost my place. I came home for the summer to do my internship after my first year of law school, and I just stayed. I had no job. My dad gave me money to file the paperwork for my nonprofit and to rent our office space. And we just kept building from there. With that being said, sometimes you have a grand idea and you may not know exactly how to start, but whatever you do, just make sure you get started. You'll never know if you don't get started. Do it scared, do it broke. If it's for you, everything will work in your favor. Thank you.
Sitara, you know what I always remember about you? Being in the city of Poughkeepsie, and you just always did such amazing work with the kids and Officer Karen, and you always had a big smile on your face. Like, a lot of times people don't know what's going on in people's lives, right? But you are a rock star. I told your mom's here, and I know she's so proud of you. Your mom and my mom know each other from IBM, and I just think it's amazing what you do, and with this summer camp, and you are a role model too. Like, all of Kelly and Serino, you guys are role models. And I think that's part of what this event is about, because it's a great networking tool, right? There are so many people in this very room that might want to start a not-for-profit and just don't know how to do it, and they can reach out or to even be involved. And like, there's so many great not-for-profits and groups of people in our community that I found, and not until I was in this position, to tell you the truth. That's how I learned about different organizations in our communities, and they are amazing. They do such good work, and just so proud to be a part of it, to get the word out and help everybody. So thank you to our 3 great speakers and their families for being here. And it's so true, like, as women so often, like, we don't look for accolades, we just do it. It doesn't matter what it is. But that's why I really love being able to honor 3 women every year, and it's just been amazing since we've been doing it, and then just to give them a platform to be able to inspire other women. And also, I'd like to thank Ken from Locust Grove. I don't know where he is, but he's always allows us to host these events here. And it's just awesome. And I want to give a huge thank you to Uncle Mike and Tina. They are involved with every single thing that I do, whether it's the Golden Gathering for the seniors or veterans dinners or whatever. I just mentioned that we're doing it, and they're always there. And it's just amazing. I can't thank them enough. I also want to introduce, there are some electeds here tonight that took time out of their busy schedule to be here. We have Fishkill Councilwoman Kenya Gadsden. Hi, Kenya. We have Judge Tracy McKenzie. Yep. And Judge Denise Watson. So I would really love it for everybody, maybe just to mingle a little bit. And, if you have business cards, share your business cards, because you never know what somebody else has to offer, what learning experience that, they can offer to you and what help they can offer. And, we also want to know about who empowers you. Tell us who empowers you so that we can share future events like this, and we can all expand our networks, and that's what's so important to me. Like I said when we started, I absolutely love this event. And I want to say a huge shout out to my team, because I couldn't do my job without each and every one of them. So thank you. And Lieutenant Flynn, you are such a role model too. Thank you. As a female officer, it's a rough world that you live in right now, but I want to say a special thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you. And then if you haven't already done so, could you please drop in a business card at our table that we have out front? And following the event, we're going to send a document with everyone's contact information if you'd like to share. So that's always helpful. So thanks again. Shane, thank you for videoing tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Did anybody have any questions or anything about anything that's on your mind? There's not enough time, Debbie says. Well, oh, yes. Anybody, whoever empowers you, like who got you started, what got you started. Like I said earlier, for me, getting involved in politics, it was all about my business. I made this building beautiful in Hyde Park, and then I went to the town, and I thought I had all my ducks in a row, and then they tell me, Well, no. Yeah. And you need this, this, and this. And by the way, we meet once a month. And they had been asking me to run, and I was like, well, what do I want to do that for? Why do I want to get involved in politics? But I did. So, so you never know. I always say our personal stories propel us forward. And I think each and every one of us have a story to share. So feel free to mingle and get to know one another. And thank you, everybody, for participating, and everybody virtually. Thank you. Thank you.